Hello, everyone. Happy Monday. Welcome to our guest interview series. Today, I've got an amazing guest, Sharon Heno. I'm going to bring her on in just a minute. We are going to talk about mental health, how to transition from 8 to 5 and lots of stuff. So I'm really excited for this guest. For everyone who's joining us, please make sure you give a StreamYard permission as you join in. That way, when you comment, we can actually see your name and address you by your name. So without further ado, let me go ahead and bring Sharon.
Hello. How are you? I'm so excited to be here.
I'm good. I'm excited to have you. I know you and I have been talking about this for a while. We planned it for last week, and unfortunately, just life threw us a
Life
curveball.
happens.
It happens. I had death in the family. I had to travel.
And my heart is with you.
Thank you so much. That just threw us off. But you know what? We are so strong. We know how to maneuver things, right?
I'm in a hotel room in New York City on the Avenue of the Americas.
There you
I have
go.
a beautiful view of the Avenue of Americas, which is so amazing that we're doing this because this is what it is, right? Women today able to just do what we're doing and
Anywhere.
I mean,
Anywhere.
it work from anywhere and just be here and touch the hearts of people everywhere. That's really what got me when I connected with you through our program that we're part of. I was like, oh my God, I love her soul. I love her energy. Those of us that work in mental health, I mean, I'll hug a tree and I love my tree hugger friends, but there's an energy, right? It's so deep and there's just, I'm faith-based, but I really loved your energy. So I'm just so thankful to be here.
And I'm very much grounded in my faith as well. And I just love people. I love talking to people. Like you said, it's just that energy that connects you. And when you have the same vibe, you just cannot help being attracted to
you
each
just
other.
drive with it and go.
Yeah. And every time we connect, we just chat away. Like before we know it.
I know. I think there was a meeting we had with like about 20 other people in the group and the two of us and we're like, oh wait, there's other people here. We need to stop.
Exactly. And even when we did our one-on-one meeting, usually it's like a 30-minute meeting. I think you and I went over an hour and we're like, okay,
a little bit.
We're like, we need to reconnect again. So
yeah. I am I'm a chatty Cathy. Like I do like to bring what people have inside of them out. So I'm a great listener, but I also do love conversation.
And you can only chat with people if you have connection. Sometimes you can't even chat for 10 minutes if there's no connection, right? So the the connection has to be there for you to really be chatting that long and not even know the time. So I'm just so grateful that we got the opportunity to meet and we've got a lot of collaboration, happening or coming up. So super excited about that. Well, today is all about you, Sharon. I'm excited to have you and I'm excited for our audience just to hear from you. So let's go ahead and do a little intro. Tell us a little about you.
So I'm gonna give the technical intro, right? And then I'm gonna get into like the meat intro. I am Sharon Heno, licensed professional counselor, owner of Behavioral Health Counseling and Consulting, and Sharon Heno Coaching, founder and creator of Prosperity Reimagined, which is a Facebook group that I am just passionate about because it motivates and inspires women. What do? I motivate and inspire women, sharing my story as the comeback kid. As women, we have these pivotal points in our life, right? We have these points. Right now, I'm in a point where I have my baby is always going to be my baby, but she's an adult now. I'm not mom. I'm more of a mentor. So that job description has changed. I'm being called to something else, which is why I'm here with you, right? Even in my clinical skills, I was being called to something else. I had to revolve and develop that. And what I really just love doing, and I do it with men and women, but really women is my platform. I really help them when they feel called, and that inner call, they probably battle it in their mind or quiet it because it doesn't make sense. But I really help them identify it, embrace it, and how to implement it in their life. Yeah. And so for some, it's stepping into entrepreneurship. Some of it's going back to work for a company. Some of it's going to nonprofits, but it's a transformation.
Right. And when we say inspire, a lot of people take it so lightly, but
Mm-mm.
truly, like, for majority of the women, taking a big leap really requires a lot of
Mm-hmm.
inspiration and empowering because there's just a lot of self-doubt, whether it's the culture that we come from or the upbringing, or it's just naturally, men always had the upper hand. So we always, doubt ourselves. Can we do this? Is this my place? So that inspiration, that empowerment is really key. And it's really powerful. It's really powerful.
And so for me, and it's funny because like I say, I love to inspire and empower and motivate women. I am really don't do it alone. God, I've said I'm so faith based. God uses me to. I'm a testimony. God spoke in all His parables, but He also there's history in these stories. I am a walking miracle. I've overcome certain things in my life that isn't more or less than other people, but I'm just very comfortable sharing my story if it's going to impact someone in a positive
Mhm.
way that they can move forward and through whatever it is they're facing.
Yeah. And regardless of what faith you
Right.
believe in, we're all here, we
Hmm.
get tested, we go through
Right.
challenges and trials, right? And
Right.
we're all here to serve.
Yes. I
That's
mean,
it.
and
It's
I
here
have
to
so many
serve.
friends of different cultures and backgrounds and religions. It's particularly because I come up here to New York and it is a melting pot
Yeah,
of
it's
different
very,
religions. And I love learning about theirs. They, chuckle with mine. It's all good. But
it
it
is.
is this, it's about just being open and embracing, right?
Exactly.
One thing, anyone who's worked with me, I am truly non-judgmental.
Mm-hmm.
I don't use the word should in my vocabulary because I feel it
Mhm.
doesn't even need to exist.
I
I feel
see.
like that word has nothing but judgment. So when I work with individuals or even in my own, I may say, I wish I would have done this differently. But when you go in and say something like, I should have, you feel the weight,
Yeah.
right? So, and that's just a little snippet of my work. But really, I think while I'm able to engage, I have a friend that drives me here in the city and he's Muslim and
Hmm.
he's there in the middle of like a large fast.
Yes.
And he was educating me a little bit about that, and we were
Ramadan.
sharing. But it was so lovely because he picked me up at JFK to bring me to Midtown, so it was a drive, and
Right.
we were just able to have this conversation between a Muslim and a Christian, non-threatening, non-judgmental, just you
Learn
know,
from each other.
and we click. We're good. Like he's on. Yeah, he's like my daughter's. One of her uncles. He's just. And I guess that's part of my journey as well. Not only to motivate and inspire, but show that as women, we really can step up
Yeah.
into these roles of not only advocacy, but I can't think of the word I'm thinking of. I guess it's advocacy, but also we just bring everything together because we
Right.
have that nurturing energy, but we're still boss babes,
Right.
right?
And we are connectors. We
Hmm.
are more open, right? We
Hmm.
can listen and then we can connect others too. We can empower and connect
Yeah.
others. And there is a saying in our religion, God created us all different so we can appreciate each other. So even though we're different, learning that difference and appreciating instead
It's
of
so
being
important.
judgmental, right? It is super important. It just brings us closer.
Well, that was part of, not to bring my daughter into this, but growing up in New Orleans, born and raised. And, typically what you do is you grow up, you either go to private school or Catholic school, and then
Mm,
the other kids go to public school. I'm not saying that as a negative, but that's New Orleans culture, right?
right, right.
So couldn't afford the private,
Hmm.
wasn't going to public, so put her in a Catholic school. Well, one thing I always spoke over her, which is a lot of what I do, which I think we're going to move into, is that manifesting. From
Right.
the day she was born, I was like, I don't know how long we'll be here, for your education, but when you go to college or she wound up going to conservatory, but when you go, you're not going to a local college. We're
Mm.
not going to Tulane, LSU, or UNO, right? Like we're not wearing the purple and gold, the green and blue. Like you are going out of state, north of the Mason-Dixon line, where you can see where other people live.
That's
For
amazing.
me, that was important, right? Because everything down below kind of runs the same. In New Orleans, we do things very,
Yeah.
whether or not you agree, it's just a unique
Yeah.
caveat.
It's
And so
different.
I spoke, and like my dad turning 80 this year is like, you know what? People are talking about this manifesting. I feel like you've been doing that with her. Like you've just, everything you have said has come true for her because I've been claiming it and calling it, talking to the big man upstairs about it, but claiming it and calling it. In my own life, I probably need to do a little bit more of that. I think, for those of us that are moms, it's so easy to do it for our children,
Right.
probably our husbands if we have them, but or partners. But it's so funny, like to see how manifesting really does work.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not separate of your faith or religion, no matter what religion you're in. It's not separate from giving good energy out, karma. It's all a universal tactic that
Right.
really just keeps us what I call purposeful living.
Right. It's
Being
deciding
enact
what you
about
want.
everything you do. Yes.
Yeah, it's deciding what you really want and just
Mhm.
putting the faith, on the higher power, right?
Right. It's
But
not coasting
moving
through
in it.
life. It's making intentional strides and steps.
Right, right. And I think why it's difficult for ourselves is because I think we have this little doubt. Like we can make it happen for others, but we always doubt
Can
what
we
we
do this? Can I do this?
can I get that done? Am
What's
I
your theme song, Sarah? Give me your theme song.
oh gosh, I can't think of one.
I'd be embarrassed to say mine because it's an old one, and for some reason it just came back around, and I'm not sure what it's about, but it's so cheesy, but it's so good. Helen Redding, I Am Woman. All of a sudden, the past 2 or 3 months, I'm like, what is this about? Like, this is so, but I'm like, you know what, I am.
The
And
minute you said that, Every Woman by Whitney Houston came to
there
mind.
you go. That.
Yeah.
I
I'm
mean,
Every
I
Woman.
do feel like, and tell me what you feel about this. I feel like we're in a very unique position and season for women.
Oh, we are absolutely. Especially the last couple of years, you could see
I feel
women.
like we're being called into a
Yeah.
different, and this isn't like go burn the bras and do all that, but we're being called into, I mean, if you want to go do that. But
Go for it.
but I feel like we're being called from higher power. For me, it's God, for someone else, it might be Allah, whoever it is, but we're being called into a position.
And we're being
And
acknowledged too.
yes,
Yeah,
it's a very powerful time.
it
And
is.
so that's why I left. I haven't left the therapy practice. I still have my therapy practice,
Mhm.
but I had to get out of the chair. So for 20 years, I've been a trauma specialist working with victims. Actually, my specialty was for individuals that were kidnap victims,
Oh,
sexual
wow.
abuse victims. So I have a gift of a decoding program. It's not my own. I mean, it's cognitive
Mhm.
behavior therapy, but it definitely goes in for victims of cults, religions, sexual abuse, kidnapping, and murder. So anyway, after doing that for a period of time, for your own mental health, you have to kind of reevaluate. And I had
Mhm.
gotten to the point as I was growing my practice and have an amazing team, but also mentoring and supporting them, I was not able to be as present as what it called me to be. Also, as my child got older, I think there was a little transference as far as the fear factor,
Mhm.
right? Yeah, you hear things that nothing you've seen on TV or watched in movies can describe what I would hear in these individuals' testimony, stories and working with them.
Right.
So really, right around when COVID hit, it was all right. I've got to figure out how we're going to reel this in and do this. So I really got more in the admin work, but I really kind of felt a weight lifted. Like it was almost
Mhm.
like you don't need to do this anymore. Like there's enough people out there to do this. And I was
Yeah.
like, but this is what I do. Like this is what, I work with the FBI on the social media stuff. Like this is what I do. And it was like, no, like you have your practice and we're going to keep doing that. But
Mhm.
what I want you to do is something else. I didn't know what the answer was,
Mm.
right? I really didn't. So then I really started mentoring to my therapist, and I had a couple clients I was still working with that was so far beyond their work from their experiences.
Mhm.
It really turned into almost career counseling and
Wow.
coaching and using those skills. And I really just felt a newfound energy. And so then it just kept evolving and evolving. And then people were reaching out, this is what I want from you. And I was like, okay, well, let me really think about this. And that's when I really went to my program not my program, but the RAND organization,
Mhm.
SAMHSA, right? The CBT that they use. I went and used
Right.
looked at what I was so skilled and trained in that program, pulled skills that I really honed in and used that with these individuals to move them into new areas. And that's really the heart of Prosperity Reimagined. And when I work, whether individually or in the group format with individuals, it's if you want the full transformation, 12 months is about what it's
program.
a 12-month program. I can do it in 6 months, and then certainly I'll start smaller with one-on-one therapy, but it's a boot camp, right? You don't rewrite the dialogue. You don't start new behaviors overnight. There's no fairy dust, but the work is good. It's motivating. It's a lot of use of positive psychology married with CBT, and I just fell in love with it. And so,
yeah, I was going to ask you, how has your therapy experience has helped you?
My own personal therapy that I've done, or therapy that I've done with individuals?
With individuals, or just the knowledge that you have in general.
I do, and I'm going to be very transparent here. When people are like, oh my God, you could be a coach, you could be a coach. I kind of didn't have a good vibe for it, because I was like, well, there are coaches doing mental health work that I don't believe they should be doing. Right. That was my go-to. I'm like, there is a lot. I have a postgraduate degree and clinical licenses, and it wasn't even about the work I did, but really the training. But then I did go back and do work, and they do train coaches very effectively in the listening skills. They do a little bit of cognitive behavior therapy. What I think I bring to the table that is different from another coach, and it's not competitive, it's just different because everybody's got their skill. The mental health piece is, one, if you're not in a place that's ready for coaching and you need therapy, I'm going to pick up on that right away. And I'm going to refer you to that, because I'm not going to do therapy with you if I'm coaching. Right. You can do both together, but coaching is very goal oriented and it's moving forward. But if you have mental roadblocks, past traumas that are preventing you from embracing where you want to go, well, there's work you have to do, right? And it's different from mindset. Mindset work is like dusting the surface, reshifting some seeds around. Deep-rooted trauma work is really going back and stripping it. It has physical side, there's a lot mind-body work involved with it, that there's a team, right? So the other piece is, I'm tooting my own horn, Sarah. I'm sorry. I'm so gifted and I am, but I am so gifted in reading an individual's nonverbals and also in reframing. And I also think, where I said earlier, I really come from a place of non-judgmental. The first thing I do with a lot of my clients, and they laugh, is I make them keep a journal, and they'll log for a week, right? They'll just write. And then we'll go back and we'll read it. And the number of times they use can't, which means I don't want to right now.
Right. Or I don't have the ability.
Right. But it's I don't want to right now.
Yeah.
Right. It's all these little roadblocks. Now, once again, if they really, that's where you decide, do they need therapy, or is it a good candidate for coaching? Right. If you can dust it and move it and inch it forward. And I'm just really good with the reframing.
It's a great talent to be able to read people.
Yes.
That's amazing.
I some people, I don't claim to be psychic, but I do pick up on people's energy and moods, which I think is why, and I probably think you probably do as well. When we talked about, we just clicked and took off, if you're somewhat have that empath ability and you pick up on people's energy, whether it's negative or positive, but unfortunately in the world we live in, there's a lot of the negative that comes in, right? And we need to help them flip the switch. Yeah. And coaches or counselors, psychologists, a friend, there are many ways to flip the switch. It's not immediate, but we can rework the path. But I do think I identify as an empath when it's a lot of negative energy and a lot of negativity. It comes home with us. It sticks to us. So there's a process. When I was doing trauma work, I had a routine that I did leaving my office. So when I left that office, I left it there.
Oh. Okay.
And I've actually passed that. And it's like a 3-step skill, it's little quirky things, but there are 3
Mhm.
things. And some of my therapists that I've trained in the trauma work as well, like, oh my God, it works. And I'm like, you've got to leave it here. So that, other
Mhm.
than a crisis, I never did. Well, during COVID, had to do some Zoom calls, but you have very strict boundaries. Like, you've got to have a space that you do that work, and then it's left there. With
Yes.
coaching, I kind of like the engagement and the flexibility. We still have boundaries, right? Boundaries are
Yeah.
important in any relationship, but I find it a little bit more. I don't want to say it's like I'm a friend, but I'm definitely. It's a little different. It's a little different
It
vibe.
is
This has a
different.
very positive. It's kind of like you're on the sidelines. Woo, you can do this. We're gonna do this, right?
Yeah.
Whereas therapists, it's like, all right, they got the message. They can do that. Can't let anybody know you're the therapist, right? It's still in the sidelines. But as a coach, you can be like, yeah, we're gonna do this. We can. So for me, it's where I need to be.
And I think coaching is a little more flexible too, right? With therapy, you have to really abide by
Well,
policies.
and I can only be in the state, right? So
Yeah,
now
there's
my
so many
daughter living in New
policies.
York, I can't even work with any of my clients.
Yeah.
Well, I don't have any clients in the therapy, but if I were, because I travel every other month, I come to New York, and then I don't. Sounds way more glamorous than it is. I sleep on a cot in her apartment, but as a therapist, I could not see my clients if I was visiting New York, because you have to be in the state where they are. You have to, everything's got to be. But with coaching, it just doesn't stop. It
Yeah.
continues on.
It is flexible, like you said. You become friends, a cheerleader, and then you can openly share, what you think and what you feel.
Mm-hmm.
And I think coaching, for outsiders who don't understand it, it
Yes.
just seems like, like a little gimmicky, or like what is coaching, but
No,
there's a lot to learn.
So I went through to get the certification. It was funny when I called IFC, International,
Mm-hmm.
whatever the certificate, right? And they're like, well, you don't even need it as a professional counselor. You already meet all the requirements. It's like, well, but looking at the curriculum that they teach, I mean, no, it's not therapy. It's not as deep as clinical. You don't have to memorize the DSM. I mean, there is a step off, but they do teach valuable, necessary skills.
Yeah, human
They teach boundary setting. They teach listening skills. They teach the reflective dialogue. They teach the reframing. So, I mean, the way I look at it, I'm trying to think.
It's like we act and react differently.
Yes.
After having gone through coaching than, normal, because I think we have the skills of understanding people, human behavior.
Mm-hmm.
So the way we act and the way we react to situations, it's quite different.
Right.
Than, when we didn't have this skill. It's a lot of skill to be learned. There's a lot to develop.
It is. It's a lot of skills. And so I was pleasantly surprised, because like I had said earlier, I was a little like, they're not staying in their lane. What are they doing over here? But it is 2 very different courses, right? So therapy, when people really hone in and say, what is the difference? Therapy is a response, right? Therapy is a response to an adjustment to a condition, an illness, whether it's adjustment, right? Something's happened, you're coming to learn skills to deal and cope.
Yeah, it's more of a reactive action.
Yes. Coaching is proactive.
Yeah.
You're coming in to learn how to get to the next level, whatever it is in your life.
Mm-hmm.
Right? No matter what it is. And really, so where I said for a certain point, everybody needed a therapist. And I still think if we started with therapy for everyone in middle school, it's just part of a wellness program, would be in a different place today. But if you are a professional, whether entrepreneur, working with another company, wanting to explore what else is out there, I think you need a coach.
Yeah.
A therapist is not going to help you figure that out. And it's not even always career-based. It could just be personal, right? A therapist is going to help you deal with past junk.
It's fixing the broken.
Yes, the coaching is going to say, okay, well, all that's done and fine. You've put a bow on it, put it on the shelf, we're ready to move forward. Let's go. And I'm going to be side by side with you. I'm not going to say, how do you feel about that? We had a conversation, we are going to, I'm going to tell you how I feel about that. I'm not sure that's the best choice, You know, I mean, so it's just, I feel like it's a much more, it's more aligned with where I am today, which is why I made the jump. And I'm just super
That's
excited. I've been
fantastic.
super successful with it. So,
Yeah, that's
and
fantastic. Tell us how you serve your clients. What is it that you help them with?
okay. So how I serve my clients, and it's actually when I get off of this, I have a consult with someone because she's like, I need career coaching. I saw your article in a magazine, like help. So I haven't met with this lady yet, but basically what I do is when people are feeling, when I say being called, and so I'm going to give everyone out there a scenario. If you're driving to work with just doomsday, you know, Sunday night is rolling around and you have doomsday. You feel like you never have time to take off. You feel like you never have time.
Mhm.
You are dreading work or just dreading life. It's affecting your home and family. You just can't put the pulse on what it is, but you feel you have these fleeting ideas like, wonder if I did that? What if?
Mhm.
If only. I work with those individuals. I help them identify their natural skill set,
Mhm.
take away what they do, really find who they are,
Mhm.
help them identify their purpose. So, as individuals, we have one purpose in life, but through our missions, we do them many ways. So, those
Mhm.
different careers or different jobs, those are the missions where we live out our purpose. So, I help them identify their purpose, then move into mission or other possibilities. And then if they're like, I want to step and figure this out, I help them move into it.
Gotcha. So it could be either career transitioning
Mhm.
or it could be moving from 9 to 5 to entrepreneurship,
Yeah.
whatever it is that they feel
Yes.
like they're getting
Yeah. I
called
mean,
to.
ideally, it's like in this great resignation, you know, everybody resigned. So let me give an example. Everybody has resigned since 2020, you know, COVID.
Mhm.
Then everybody's been called back to work, right? The work day is coming back. The clock is looking not quite the same, but pretty similar to what it was, and people are resigning. And then now they're like, what now? Well, I helped them figure that out without going back to school, without, you know, I
Mhm.
help them figure out what are your skill. And sometimes I worked with a lady, we just finished up our work. She actually left corporate, was
Mhm.
stay home mom for a while. Then she started entrepreneurship and she was getting momentum, but an offer came in that was just really in alignment with what her vision and mission was,
Mhm.
really allowed her more time freedom, more financial stability. So it's not a 9 to 5, but she's going back actually to work for someone else. She's putting
Mhm.
the entrepreneurship on pause to go because this makes more sense.
Right.
You know, there's a lot of people that left their jobs that are like, I don't know that I made the right choice. Well, the choice
Yeah.
has been made, and it is the right choice because we don't look, we don't have regret. Like, right? What did we learn from it, and how do we move forward from it?
Right. Take the lesson and just move forward.
Mhm.
If entrepreneurship is not really where your passion is,
No, and it's not for everybody. I
yeah,
mean, I chuckle. Like, how many days a week do you work, Sarah?
girls, 7 days a week.
7? 7,
Yeah,
8. If there was an 8th day, I'd
seven.
be working on it.
Yeah, six,
Yeah.
7 days. So
Yeah.
entrepreneurship is not,
Yeah.
what it
I
cracked
mean,
up
my
to
daughter
be.
today, because she has auditions tonight, but we were running around trying to have a little playtime, and she's like, "Why is your phone?" I said, "Ellie, these are my job. These are, you know, these. I have 2 businesses. This is what I do, and this is why you can do this. But this is what I do. But yeah, there's if you're on vacation, like you work. I mean, it's just
Yeah. Now we've decided to work now so we can have that freedom,
right,
right?
right.
The
Well,
freedom is
time.
there,
That's the
time
thing is
freedom.
I own my time. You
Exactly.
know,
We
I do
decide
like.
when to work.
I can,
And
you know,
then
I can put the
working,
phone away, you
yeah,
know, when I don't want to.
and that location freedom. Now you're able to work from New York.
In New York, I know. I'll be home
And
tomorrow in New Orleans. My
and
fur
before you
babies.
know it, you could be working from overseas,
I
right?
I
So we have
will.
that.
I'll be in
Yeah,
Paris next year.
there you go.
I
I'm
will.
planning to go
I've
to
already
Dubai
got the
in a
hotel.
couple
I
of
have the
months.
balcony overlooking the
Oh,
Eiffel
you
Tower.
do?
The where I'm like, you know, that's part of my. I did a post on Instagram, and somebody was like, "Oh my God, it was such a clear explanation." I'm like, you know, manifesting and stepping out in faith is not about spending money you don't have. It's not about acting like you're somebody you're not. But
Yeah.
if there is something you want in your life, so I went and worked in the lobby of the plaza. I've never stayed at the plaza, but I love the lobby. I go and work there all the time
Yeah.
because one day I will stay there.
Yeah.
right?
a different
It's not
climate.
about, it's just like, so the girl that wrote the Harry Potter, right? She
Mm-hmm.
was homeless with her children,
Yeah.
but she went to that luxurious hotel and wrote the book. I don't even know if she intentionally did it, but
Mm.
she went and sat in, like, it was, I don't know if it was the Savoy, but it was a very luxurious hotel in England where she sat in a corner and wrote Harry
Oh,
Potter.
wow.
Like, manifesting is you go where you want to be,
To be, exactly.
mind and physically. You go and you claim it.
Yeah, exactly. I actually had a phone conversation with one of the ladies that have gone to Paris fashion show, etc. So she just invited me to another fashion show in Africa, and then we're
Oh,
gonna end up visiting Dubai after that. I'm like, yes, I'm ready to travel.
two places I'm dying to go. I am dying to do an African photographic safari, and then always want to go to Dubai.
Well, you may want to tag along with us.
I might be coming, you
Think about
see?
it.
And that's the other part, putting yourself in position to receive.
Exactly. And then just meeting people. That's what I love, meeting people, because this woman, I met her 2 years ago at another fashion show
Mhm.
and we clicked. We have become friends. She has taken me to LA BET fashion show. We have gone to Paris. 2020 was going to be our biggest year. We had like Torino, Istanbul, Paris, Dubai
Wow.
Fashion Week, all of that booked. But and then,
Uh,
nature threw the curveball
right,
again. And then we were okay with that. We're like, we did one virtual fashion show and then we're
right.
planning a couple of them right now. So, but
But now you're
just
getting
meeting
back.
people opens up a lot of different opportunities. You just
It,
never
it
know.
does. And I think that was you can, so, and correct me, you can stay in a place of COVID. It ruined us. This negative space, or you can say, what did we learn from COVID?
Oh,
I will tell you, in my therapy practice, we will never go back to working how we were. I removed my front office. They're gone. They're all working from their homes.
yes.
They went to salary. So they're all, as long as they get their work done,
Yeah.
because guess what? I learned I don't have to micromanage. They know what they have to do, they know what needs to be done. The therapist, as long as 50%, because the requirements of the
They have
board and
to
whatnot,
clear. Yeah.
as long as 50% of the time is done in face to face, the other 50% can be done online within the state. They can't, but it's just so much flexibility. I've created this environment that my therapists are so much more, they're in better headspace. So then they're better able to serve,
To serve,
right?
exactly.
Taking myself out the chair, I'm better able to serve my therapists who are now really my clients, right? And
Yeah.
then other clients that in this new venture, not really new venture, but the venture of really honing in on the coaching.
Yeah, it afforded us a lot of flexibility.
Mhm.
So, I mean, we can't dwell on the negative part. There's a lot of
No,
positive that came out of it.
there
A
were
lot of us
lessons
are
learned.
able, yeah, to work like this. There are a lot of different,
I feel like it even brought it back around the sense of community, right?
it
Like
did.
we were forced to lean where some of us didn't have our families right there. We had to lean into our immediate neighborhoods
Communities,
and our
neighbors.
communities.
Yeah.
And if you go back and look at history, how it used to be, we don't want all of how it used to be, right? But there are some things that we kind of lost that we need to probably put back into practice.
Yes, and
And
and I think a lot of learning opportunities also came online because of COVID, which
mhm,
really helped, a lot of us that are always looking for self-development and
yeah,
growth. It just opened up a lot of doors, so it's been incredible.
yeah.
So Sharon, what are you up to? Do you have something coming up, in the
So
near
right
future
now
that you want to
I'm
share?
working. I have a few spots for one-on-one clients. I am come, I think end of June, early July. I'm going to be doing. I've been working to really hone in my group program, which is going to be exciting because it's you get a little bit of the one-on-one, but it's a learning in a group format, right? And I've just, even from therapy and facilitating groups, I think the group format is so much
It's powerful.
value and beneficial. I think
Yeah.
it's probably in a lot of cases more effective. There are
Mhm.
some that need that one-on-one, but it really where people are like, oh, but I can't be, I wouldn't want to share, I wouldn't want to do this. It's unbelievable when you get into that world, and it really is a group that's aligned with kind of the same values, beliefs, and path, not exactly the same, but what you want, you just want to like learn from them and share with them. So you really, I find it forces you into a transparency that's just beautiful because it sows the seed of just growth.
It does. And also, you learn a lot from a group because there are a lot of questions that we do not think about that we hear other people bring up. Maybe they're 2 steps ahead of us. And
Right.
when they bring up that kind of question, it's like an aha moment. I'm like, oh, I got to think about that too. You take
Right.
your notes. So a lot of coaches, they advise you to start with one-on-one coaching first, but I want to
I
stay.
like groups. So I mean, right now I'm doing one-on-one. Personally, I would like the group. And then if someone needed more intense or wanted more, then they come to the one-on-one, right?
Yes.
But I do feel like the group, because also if I'm working one-on-one with you, I mean, I have a plethora of wisdom to share, but I'm not the know-all, right? Like I know what I know in my lane. But when you bring a community together, there's just so much more.
So much learning, and then you create that opportunity for them to connect and bond. A lot of friendships are created. I mean, look at you and I. We met in that group coaching.
I know. And it was
Right?
like, what, 20? It was like 20 of us, but we just, and you're still able to form. They're like, oh, but it loses the intimacy. But I don't think. I mean,
No, you
you
go
and I
into-
connected, and I've connected with some other individuals. And I feel like, I mean, I'm probably a unicorn in that. I just kind of put it all out there. That's just who I am. I feel that's what makes me unique with God. He's like, she'll say it. Let me just, but there's so much we can learn from each other. And we're at completely different levels on this journey. I mean, you started before I did. We're my one industry, but we have some similarities that we shared in our stories and the highs and lows of entrepreneurship.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that group opportunity, groups, environment creates that opportunity to meet. And then you take it to the next level where you can meet just like this one-on-one, just nurture the friendship and all that stuff. So the group just creates that.
So I'm hoping to do a mini launch at the end of June. I love my Facebook group, and I just have fun in there and do stuff. So if anyone here wants to join that, I will share the link with Sarah and she can put it out there. But within that, I want to do just a fun, like 2 or 3 day learning, helping people identify what I call their pillars, their goals, and some things. And then we'll see how that group develops and move forward with that.
Awesome. Definitely send me the link for the group. And also, where would you like people to reach out to you, or where would they find you? Would it be Instagram and handle?
They can. So Instagram is sheno26. Facebook is Sharon Heno. The Facebook group is Prosperity Reimagined, or you are more than welcome to share my email with anyone.
We can share your email and your Facebook group, as well as your handles. It's just been great,
I know. I just love being, I'm sitting here next to Sarah. I'm like, she just has like the glow.
Oh, come on.
You just have this aura of just like peace. I have the New York. I've been running the street all day.
No, you look absolutely beautiful.
No, it's good.
It's good. Absolutely beautiful. Well, Sharon, it was fantastic having you, and you and I are going to connect more.
It's going to be good.
You declared that already, so
yes,
we have more.
I think we're going to do a great master class or something together. I think we have. Yeah,
we've got a lot planned. Yeah. Just watch out, people. Just watch out.
We're coming. Yes, for you.
Exactly. We're coming. You're going to see her in this group, I'm sure, again. Yes. So it's been great having you. It was a fantastic conversation. I enjoy talking to you every time and learn from you. Yes. Definitely, we all learn from each other. That's why it's nice to have conversations. So thank you so much for being here. Yes. And I look forward to our next meeting.
Yes, absolutely.
Have an awesome day.
Everyone have a great night.
Awesome. Thank you. Well, everyone, I hope you enjoyed this conversation. As I said earlier, it's just great to have Sharon. We have chatted in the past, and every time I talk to her, I learn a lot from her, and it's just such an inspiration. So if you guys have any question regarding, what we talked about, go ahead and drop it in the comment. We're gonna go ahead and put the link for her email and as well as her Facebook group. Definitely join her Facebook group. You're gonna just get a lot of wisdom. You're gonna learn a lot from her. She's got so much experience. So definitely connect with her. We'll see you guys again on another guest expert interview next Monday, as well as we hope to see you on Wednesdays at 3 o'clock on our weekly live training. Thank you so much. Have an awesome week.